See sucker soup on a hot summer day. Coffee comes back in a nerve-wracking way. The dishes and laundry take the garbage out. What a day, what a day, what a day. Kids got their quizzes and I've got a date.
Got a great show with lots of great information. For this summer event, you're going to be you're inundated with great stuff that's coming up, and we're going to be talking about it today. We'll be starting off with our first guests, which are the Full Monty over at The Rep, and they're going to be running for about a month with that play. And then we're going to talk about the Tall Ships, or class Afloat. And after that, we'll be talking with Music Haven, Mona Golub, to find out about all those fabulous events coming up. And they're free at Central Park. What more could you ask for? And then we'll be talking with the Guilderland Town Band, and they have some free events coming up at Towasetta Park. We'll be talking about that. And of course, the Iroquois Indian Museum over in Howes Cave. Wonderful place to visit. Bring your kids. You're going to hear more about that. And then we're going to hear about a book called Apollo, The Decade of Achievement, and it's all about the Apollo flights. And of course, we're headed into our 50th anniversary for the Apollo moon landing. And then we will be, for our breaks, we just went up to Montreal, Canada, and we had a great powwow up there. So we thought, in honor of the Indian Museum, we would show some of the powwow that was up there. Not the same tribes, but it's certainly an Indian event. So we're going to start right out with a Full Monty. And the Full Monty, I saw the movie. I've seen the play. It is an amazing play. So with me, I have two of the stars of the show. Yes. So tell me a little bit about Maggie.
Yes, what?
Did you pick the play?
I did. I did. I do love this musical because because you've seen it, and the movie and the musical are filled with a lot of heart.
Yeah. Oh yes,
a lot of heart. It really gets you to see these guys change and come into their own, and you know,
so
bare
cool.
their souls and everything else. Right.
You're not going to see it here though, but anyway.
No.
Maggie Mancinelli Cahill is the artistic director there. Did you produce this one, or did you direct
I'm directing this
You're directing
one.
it.
Yes,
okay,
I'm directing it.
And then you've brought Christopher Sutton, and we've talked about Lynn Philistine here as well. Yeah. They are on the show, and a curious little part is that they were both in Spamalot for. Yeah. She was a lady of the lake. Yeah. You were not dead yet.
Yeah, that's right. Not dead.
They also. Lynn was our lead in Mamma Mia at the theater, and Christopher and I go very far back.
We do.
He was in our show of I Love You, Perfect Now Change.
Oh, I remember that.
And then we all got together last year up in Vermont and a theater up there, and we remounted I Love You, Perfect Now Change. So it's really fun.
So these are seasoned actors.
They're seasoned.
Not only that, they've won awards and things.
They're dear friends. Yes,
which is really
they're
nice.
pretty brilliant.
What makes the Full Monty? What makes that play so enjoyable?
What do you think? You know.
Well, I think everybody can relate to it on some level at some point in their lives. I feel like it's a show that's really about family, and in this case,
it is
how all the families deal with unemployment.
Because this takes place in England in the coal mines.
The movie did. Terrence McNally redid the brilliant book of this musical. It's a really strong book musical, which means the story is really great. And they reset it to Buffalo, New York. So the steelworkers are unemployed. It's one of those downturns in Buffalo that was going on and on and on.
You don't have to learn an accent.
Right.
Not too much, right. So it's about family and friendship.
And the family that's created when these guys get together and meet each other. Some of them know each other. Some of them don't, and then that family gets created, and we all come to realize that we are not just defined by what we do, but who we are and how we deal with adversity and all the different situations in the show, and that kind of brings everybody together, in a common way.
And Vicki is the wife?
I play the wife of Harold, who was sort of their boss, and he's also fired. He was fired or let go. And
he's the older one.
He's played by Kevin McGuire,
that's
by
right.
the way. Yeah.
And we're all in the same
Who's
boat
the
now,
older
even
one?
our
We're all the
boss.
same, even the boss.
He
was
married a younger
yeah.
woman, obviously. We just want to get that straight, obviously. The guy's been really lucky, to get Lynn. Yeah.
I'm not going there.
No, yes, she's a lot of fun. I'm having a really good time with the character, and you also see you see her. She has a nice little journey, I think, and you see their relationship and really what it's based on in love, and it's really a beautiful little arc I get to have as Vicki.
We've got some photos. I don't know if they brought them up, but let's take a look at the photos that we have, and maybe we can chit chat about those as
All
well.
right.
One is the full cast. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's it's not.
a lot of us.
It's a lot of people. There are many more people than that actually in the full cast.
Oh, there is. Okay.
Yeah.
But that is all of the guys who actually decide that to make money, it would be a good idea for them to form a group called Hot Metal that takes their clothes off once for a lot of money.
Okay.
And those are all the guys who do the famous strip number in the full Monty.
Yeah. Now there were two sets of photos. That was taken, I think, at the Broadway announcement.
No, these were all taken.
Oh,
I
they
will
were?
tell
Okay,
you
good.
where. They were taken next door at the Hollow Restaurant that
Okay.
kindly let us borrow their stage to do
Nice,
these
nice,
shots.
nice,
So
nice.
these are all of our actual cast that will be
Wonderful.
seen in our show, and they're great guys.
Yeah, it
So
looks-
should there be like a sticker warning label or anything on this show? I'm just checking.
Well, I don't think that it's for kids. We're saying 13.
Okay.
Because it deals with adult subjects.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And the men do go full Monty, but
Did you
as
have to
we
get a
all know,
Did you have to get a permit for that?
no.
They're
And the
all
way
willing.
it's
They're all
done,
very willing.
do you all, how that's
Yeah,
done.
I do. No,
so
I know.
we don't want to, yes, they go the full Monty, but if you see something, let me know. And
Yeah.
I want to know
Because
where
they
your
use
seat
hats,
was.
right?
Yeah,
They
they
use
use
hats.
hats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
of course, it looks like we finally got jobs as policemen.
Yeah.
But that's not the case.
But it's not, right?
So when can they see this wonderful
Well,
play?
we go into previews the day after the 4th of July. July 5th, we go into previews. We open on July 9th, and it will run all summer through August 11th.
What a great way to just enjoy a nice summer evening.
I think
to go-
everybody will have a lot of fun. You get to hoop and holler, and
So
you
much
get
fun.
to cry a little bit and really, really laugh.
Now, do you have any special drinks? Because usually they'll have a special drink for, and I'm
Now,
just
Ann,
trying to
how do
see
you
where
know that?
I
Yes,
don't know.
we do. I don't
I have
know
my
if
crystal
they've.
ball here.
I don't know if they've named them, but they have something
They're
that
gonna do that.
Yeah,
That's
they have a
always fun,
special
though.
drink
Yeah.
at the bar that
Yeah.
you can get
Yeah.
to make the evening even more enjoyable. Yeah.
How early should they get their tickets? Can they get their tickets now?
You should get tickets now because
I think it's going to be sold
yeah,
out.
it will be sold out,
Yeah.
and we've sold a lot of tickets already. This show was not in our subscription,
I know, I
but
remember
it's
that.
extra, and it's amazing. We're already at like 3/4. So please get your tickets. It will
Yeah.
be something that will sell out.
And I have to ask you, I mean, between you and me,
Yes.
when are you moving?
When are we moving? Well, we're not moving till the summer of 2020.
Okay, that's
So
what, because
that's-
people are asking me that.
Sure,
and
sure,
I said,
sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. So we just we were very, very lucky because the final piece of funding has fallen in, that we get these historic tax credits, which means that we can move into financing and put the shovel in the ground, and we'll be moving
How
into the new
cool
space
that is.
next summer.
So I imagine the two of you will be happy to be doing on a new stage when they have it, because there'll be another
Yeah, that'd be
production.
great. Yeah, Lynn and I we have a 5-year-old sitting back there.
Yeah, I know. Hi.
We've been together for 17 years,
Uh-huh.
married for coming up on 13,
13.
right, this fall. And we're just very fortunate, and we thank Maggie so much,
Yes.
and Freddie and Josh for this opportunity, because we do get to work together quite a lot. Although, as I've said, you work together a couple times in 1 year, then maybe a year or two where you don't work together necessarily. But we've done it about over 20 times.
Yeah.
Where we've been able to either we played the parents in A Christmas Story.
Oh, how
Together. But then we've also done things where I see her from afar. She was Glinda, I was the Scarecrow.
Oh, okay.
So I saw her flying by.
So you
but
did
we're
the
just so
Wiz.
happy
With
to
the
be here.
Wiz? You did
Yeah,
the Wiz?
Wizard of Oz, yeah.
Yeah.
But we're just so happy to be here. It's such a great community to be a part
Where's
of.
your base?
We live in New York City.
Oh, you live in the city.
Yeah. So it's nice to be up here again. And
Yeah. Well, that's where all the auditions are anyway, so.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, you got to be where the action is.
That's
So
right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Thank
It's
you.
been a pleasure to meet you both.
Thank
and
you.
I
Thank you.
wish you,
You
well, I
too.
should say break a leg, but that's what we say, right?
We should say that.
We
yeah.
should say that,
Yeah.
well, But we have legs now. Did you know that in this theater?
Yeah,
They finally put legs up.
I know they did, but that's not where that expression comes from.
Yeah, it is.
Breaking a leg. No, is it?
Yeah, it comes from if you break a leg, meaning the legs of the theater, it means that you're going to go on stage. So that means a good thing.
Oh, is that where that comes from?
You knew that. Come on, you're
no,
joshing me.
I might be funning you a
I
little
think
bit.
you are funny a little bit. I know this woman knows
Just
everything.
checking you out there.
I know. But anyway, thank you all for being here, and
Thank you.
you're going to have
Always.
a great time. I can't wait to see you on stage.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to be
You'll
seeing
see
a
it,
lot
Laura.
more of you than I thought I was going to see. Very good. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to meet our next guest, and they were going to be talking about Class Afloat and what it's like to learn on the high seas. Stay tuned. Here we are back again, and Class Afloat. Chris Trow comes on almost every year to talk about Class Afloat and what he's doing for the kids. There's a foundation that raises some money and allows worthy students, I guess I should say worthy students or vetted students, I don't know how you want to word that, to come on.
They're selected by the guidance counselor at the
By
school.
the guidance counselors.
Earl
Okay, good.
Barkham.
And they are able to go on a sailing ship, and they take classes there. And what's really interesting is they get to meet people from other areas. So right now I have two of the guests here. One of them has just returned, and
Happy
and
diary.
one Blessin here is going.
Yep.
Right? What do you think
September.
about it?
I'm excited. I'm super excited. I'm scared, but I'm excited.
What are you scared about?
Just being on the water, never done that before.
And you're going to be on there for a while.
Yeah.
She's
Did you
taking
see,
swimming
like,
lessons right now.
Yep.
Taking swimming lessons?
Yep.
Okay. You won't have to go in the water.
Oh yeah, everybody jumps
Yeah,
overboard.
I hear they jump.
do jump
yeah.
overboard?
It's part of your basic training, and then certainly in many spots they visit in the Caribbean and the Mediterranean, they go swimming off the ship. Yeah, it's
That's
a big activity.
interesting.
Everybody wants to jump off the bow of the ship.
I'm with you. I'm with you, hon.
Diary can tell you about that.
Yeah.
So tell us about your trip. You just got back. So.
Yeah, just returning. So we take academic
You've been on the
classes.
show before, too.
Yes, last year.
Nair, right?
This
Yeah.
time last year.
Yeah. So we take academic classes, but also maritime studies. So we learn about, of course, like sail training, but we also take, so I was a uni student, so you take university classes. We don't always be on, we're not always on sea, but when we are on sea, it depends. We could either be on sea for a day or sometimes 18 days. And usually we just have regular tasks, so regular schedule like any like class day, but only like out of those days we have watch. So
you're part of the crew then, is
Yeah.
that right?
Every student is assigned to a watch, and there's 8 or 9 students in a watch, and you do 2 sessions of watch in a 24-hour period, and watch is constantly going. So you're doing watch twice a day with your group.
Okay.
yeah, so it's either one day you do 2 hours of watch during the day, but then another day out of the week you do 4-hour watches, and it could be more. So you do galley, so you're in the kitchen.
What an opportunity.
Yeah.
I bet you had a good time.
Oh, definitely.
So did you meet any lifelong friends? Because we want Blessin to know that she's going to
Oh,
meet some
definitely.
good people
I
there.
definitely have.
She has connections around the world now.
Yeah, definitely. My
So now
friend
you're
is in
gonna
Spain
travel.
now. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. What do you expect to get out of this, Blessin?
Me and Nairi were just talking earlier. I just want to see like how other people outside of the United States live. That's probably the biggest thing that I'm excited for. You know, we're going to so many different places, so it's like we're seeing different cultures and different types of people.
Where are you going? Or do you know?
Morocco. Yeah, there's a whole list.
Okay.
Morocco, Italy, Canada, the Bahamas.
Okay, you're getting a variety.
Yeah,
Morocco,
yeah.
Morocco, that's where you get to ride the camels.
Yep.
Oh, the camels.
They get to do a camel ride, that's right.
Yeah.
And the other exciting thing they do is they cross the equator on the ship twice.
Okay.
And so that gets them a few badges that not many people get.
Amazing.
Yes.
This is now. I have to ask. Did you ever encounter rough weather?
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Wait a
have
minute.
been
I got to
seasick.
cover Blessin's ears here.
Yeah, we suffered about like gale force winds.
Did you really?
Yeah, so, but it all depends on trade. Like, hopefully you get good winds, but it is fun when, you know, the boat is heeling at 180 degrees and you're sliding, so. That's
The worst weather comes right at the end of the voyage when they're returning to port, and they're usually going from somewhere around the Bahamas to the Azores. So they go across the North Atlantic,
Oh,
which
okay,
has
so
quite a
which could be
reputation.
rough.
Yeah, it wasn't,
And,
it was all right. It
Very
wasn't-
high, fast winds. They break records when they're sailing that stretch. But they're all seasoned sailors by that time, so
Yeah, it wasn't.
doesn't bother them. They're cool.
Our crossing, we didn't really get that many winds. We did a lot of motor sailing, but there were some ports where.
Did you keep a journal?
Yes, I definitely journaled a lot.
Yeah. So be sure to journal.
Yeah.
So
Lots
this
of
is-
pictures.
So, Chris, tell us a little. I mean, we've already talked to our wonderful guests here, but tell us a little bit about the program.
Okay, the program is a Canadian school. The school is based in Canada at Acadia, through Acadia University, which is in Nova Scotia. The ship is actually a Dutch ship, so the students all go to Amsterdam to get on the ship, and that's where the voyage actually
So they
ends.
fly to Amsterdam?
Yep, we're going to be flying. Blessin and I will fly to Amsterdam
Wow.
in September. She'll get on the ship. There's 3 or 4 days training, and then they're off. And she won't see Amsterdam again until May of the following year. And so it's quite a voyage. So the school's been around for more than 30 years
I
now.
know it has.
And originally it was a private school. Now it's a public operation. There's new ownership for the past 5 years, and so it's open to a wider spectrum of people. And my son went on it in 2013, and I felt, wouldn't it be cool if some kids from the inner city of Schenectady
Why not?
would get a chance to go? And I made a relationship
Proposal,
with
yeah.
one of the guidance counselors there, so we've sent 9 students. Blessin will be the 9th student to go from
And-
this area.
And how many? I guess I need to ask you because you've been on the ship. How many students are there on the ship?
60.
60.
Yeah.
So they get to meet a lot of different people.
Yeah, about
People come from all around the world.
15 nationalities.
15? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So this
A
is
lot of
real-
languages spoken.
Did you learn another language?
Well, I kind of worked on my Spanish. A little bit of French with my friends, but yeah, that's about it.
Well, you know, if you're in what they call immersion, once you're in there and people are speaking the language, you are apt to learn a little something. So you're going to come back fluent in
Yeah.
something or other. No, this is a wonderful program. Chris, how can people help you raise money?
Well, we have a web page. There's a foundation web page where people can donate there, or contact me directly. There's also an email address on the website, and so we'd love to have donations and send more students. They're certainly deserving, and it's a fabulous life experience. And I feel that one of the advantages of this program that we're doing is maybe we only send one student to the ship, but there's dozens of eyeballs following that student from the extended family. And so there's a lot of people who live that voyage for the entire year. They're looking at the ship and what.
Now,
what
how do
they're
they
doing.
communicate? Can they? Do they have Wi-Fi there that they're able?
No Wi-Fi on the ship.
No Wi-Fi.
No,
oh my.
no cell phones
No
on the ship.
TVs.
You can use
No
your cell phone
TVs,
for
no.
pictures. You can take pictures, but on the ship, there's no Wi-Fi.
Communication.
The ship can communicate to shore,
No,
but the
of
students
course.
don't
we
have
don't want
that.
them out there. Not
So
me.
what happens for the university students is when they come into port,
They can do
it's a distance learning strategy through Acadia University. So the students have to submit their assignments and then pick up whatever new things from the professor. And public school students, the teachers are right on board. So
Okay.
they're getting a Nova Scotia grade 11 or grade 12 public school diploma.
So you guys, without the phone,
I'll be okay.
You become creative.
Yeah.
it's good. I wish everybody went through that for a while, you know, kind of withdraw from that. But anyways, Chris, thanks for bringing these lovely women, and I'm so happy. You got to come back and tell me next year.
Got it.
Well, and thank you for having us on again.
I
And
love
I'd like
you
to give
guys.
a little bit of a plug for the Schenectady Gazette. They've done articles on us every
Yeah.
year, and there's another one in the Sunday paper that was just out. So if you want to read more about Blessin, look in the Schenectady Gazette. You can see that on their website.
Great. So, you know, have a wonderful trip.
Thank you.
Yeah. What are you doing next?
College.
College, where?
I'm gonna go to North Carolina.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go to the A&T in Greensboro, North Carolina.
And what are you going to teach?
I'm gonna study medicine.
Medicine, good.
Yes.
Good. We need lots of people in that field. Good. Thank you. Hope have a wonderful career.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you all for being here today. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be talking a little bit about international stuff too, because we're talking about the big events coming up this summer with the Music Haven. So stay tuned. I'm Aunt Perilla. Music Haven. If you haven't gotten one of these flyers, find one somewhere, because these are great. Talks about all the wonderful events coming up. Mona Golub is with me. She's with the Music Haven stage. We're here at Open Stage Media, and we're filming in the Addy, and we're going to speak with Mona today about, ta-da,
The 30th anniversary
30th anniversary.
Music Haven series.
You've been involved the whole time.
I have. I started when I was 6.
I thought that. But I can't imagine gathering all these phenomenal acts, and let's talk about some of them. You had your first one happen to be changed because
Yes.
of a glitch there.
Well, we do travel the world one concert at a time, so we're working mostly with international artists, as you know. And over the recent couple of years, it's become more difficult to get visas that help these artists come to the United States
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
week or two to be able to touch down at Music Haven. So we did have our first artist who was originally scheduled come across some of those issues, but we've been able to find a wonderful replacement.
Cafe.
Yes, yes, Neeraj Arya's Kabir Cafe, also from India, so we'll be starting our journeys in India this summer.
And their instruments are wonderful that they use. They're so different.
Well, their style marries traditional
Yeah.
Indian music. They set a lot of their music to poetry from
Oh.
15th century Kabir poetry, so it's modern and traditional at the same time, and will be a wonderful group to dance to as well, so that'll be a great kickoff.
Actually, we should mention at Central Park, where this happens in Schenectady, there's all new seating. There's plenty of seating out there to sit back and enjoy, and there is space to dance.
Definitively.
Yeah.
When the music inspires, we've got space right in front of the stage and on both sides. And for those who prefer to seat, we've got our stadium quality seats up front and a beautifully terraced hill for another couple thousand behind
Yeah,
you.
that want to sit on blankets and things like that. And then your next one is Casarina?
Casuarina's from Brazil. It's the first
You got
samba
such
band.
a great accent there.
I always wondered where my major in Romance languages would
Now
come
it's
through in
coming
my
through,
life.
right?
It's coming through. But Casuarina is a wonderful samba band. We've got a traditional foro band opening for them. So we'll spend the second evening of our journeys in Brazil. Then we move on to a global dance party with the Turbans.
The Turbans, yeah, and that looks like a great group.
Music from manywhere, as they say. So they've got players from Turkey and Bulgaria and Israel, Greece, Eastern Europe.
Oh, maybe a little klezmer in there even. Who
Yeah, I
knows?
think
Who
a touch of
knows?
klezmer too.
Yeah, I love klezmer music.
Then we partner with our friends here at Proctor's.
Oh, Hamilton! Oh,
Hamiltunes. The songs from the show that the audience gets a chance to sing along to.
Yeah,
And there will be some popular leaders of the evening, band leaders from the area, actors, personalities.
I can't wait
who will
for
be
that.
guiding
Yeah,
the
that's
audience.
gonna
But
be
come
great.
sing along, the biggest Hamilton karaoke in the region.
Yeah, and
will
how,
be-
I mean, will they know the words? How are they going to?
I've heard people know every word of every song in that show.
It's like the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Everybody knows the stuff.
I would think so. Of 2019.
But we're not doing that here.
No. Then we've got a wonderful group, the Garifuna Collective, which comes from the cluster of islands between North and South America.
Oh, okay.
So Belize, Honduras, St. Vincent. And they're preserving a Garifuna culture which came across on African slave ships that landed in those island areas
Really?
before they never made it to North America. So
Yeah.
they've preserved their language, their music, their food, their culture, and they'll be bringing that to Music Haven this summer.
And Garifuna is the name of the culture?
Garifuna is the name of the culture, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that,
Yeah.
but I'm glad you brought
First
that to me.
time we've ever had a Garifuna group come to the area, so that'll be an exciting one as
And
well.
Hunter Tones.
New York City, horn-driven jazz and funk.
I know.
That'll be a great show. I saw them perform at the Mercury Lounge down in New York City this past winter, and they just blew me away. And I thought I must bring this
blew
group
you
in.
away. That would be those horns?
Definitely, definitely. That's a midweek show for us, but I just couldn't resist bringing them in.
Good.
We've got Shakespeare we're bringing back with Will Kemp's Players, a
They're
troupe
coming
out
on
of
the show
Troy.
to talk about that too. Yeah.
Fabulous. 2 nights of A Midsummer Night's Dream, the classic comedy, and that'll be wonderful on a Friday, Saturday
And who
evening in
doesn't
late
love
July.
Shakespeare, and then wonderful all the characters in the Midsummer
Outside,
Nights.
al fresco.
Oh my God.
Yes. Of course, we have to touch down in Ireland, so we've got
absolutely.
Seamus Egan Project will bring us some Celtic music this summer. And Kevin McCrell will be opening that show, by the way,
McCrells are wonderful.
Our-
Yeah.
who just won an Eddie for Lifetime Achievement.
Yeah,
So we
I
love
know that.
Kevin.
And I love the Nick Brignola.
Well, many people might not know that Nick Brignola played the original concert at Music Haven in the series back in 1990.
I did not know that.
So we thought we'd pay homage to Nick and do a tribute to him and his music. And I went to David Calarco, who was the drummer with Nick at
Okay.
that time, and asked him to put together a
And he did?
group. And he
Okay.
did, of All Stars. So that'll be a great jazz show.
And then we're going back in time here.
It's a
next.
brand new documentary that goes back 50 years in time. Woodstock, 3 days,
Woodstock, oh my
that
gosh.
defined a generation.
It did. It really did.
Yeah, from the audience's perspective.
Yeah,
So it's a
yeah.
little bit different, not rated R like the original movie. This is a family show out
Yeah.
in Central Park, free to the public. But it'll be interesting with our friends at WMHT to be able to do a premiere screening of a movie.
Yeah, this is fabulous.
Then we move on to
I love
Detroit, Motor
blues.
City.
Oh my God.
And we're wrapping our annual summer social event for Music Haven around this show. Blues all the way, Thornetta Davis. She'd bring in the whole
Love,
gang,
love.
backup singers and all. That'll be a great night. Then we welcome our friends from Proctor School of the Performing Arts.
Yeah, the
So-
cabaret.
Group of students who will be performing a Broadway cabaret, and that'll be a wonderful evening as well. Very family oriented. And then we're pleased, of course, to bring the Schenectady Symphony Orchestra back.
Amazing orchestra.
They put
Really
on a
are.
night of pops last year that was breathtaking.
Yeah, yeah.
Truly.
We don't need to go to Boston, do we?
No, no, we got it right here in this area.
Absolutely.
Then we've got a Colombian joropo band. Technically, it's Colombian cowboy music.
Really?
And
Okay.
I've been chasing this group for 3 years. I can't wait to present them at Music Haven. They are phenomenal artists. The center instrument being a Colombian harp, a 48-string harp. Got a
48
dancer,
oh my-
singer. It's just a fabulous group.
What
And
a way to introduce your family to great music that isn't, hip hop off the radio.
bringing the
Yeah,
world to the park.
yeah,
Feel the
yeah.
energy. And then we close the season in the Democratic Republic of the Congo
Mm-hmm.
with Jupiter and Okwesa, a fabulous Congolese pop band that I heard at Global Fest a couple years ago. And
Now, do you have openings for these bands? I mean, is there like an opening act, or do you just go right into it? And
all of the core Sunday shows, which are the global shows that travel the world one concert at a time, have a special guest opening the show.
Okay.
Sometimes it's an outstanding regional artist, sometimes it's another international
Okay.
artist. But yes, a two-pronged evening.
That's
so
what
that
I wondered, because I thought, because I'd been there, and a lot of times you have 2 acts.
And we do a great raffle in between, and of course, our concessionaires sell not only great American food, but they always feature something
Something
that
from that.
relates to the locale that the artists have come
usually
from.
have like
so.
ice cream and stuff, and then you have,
Ice cream burgers, and in the
burgers.
case of the Indian concert, samosas and chicken tikka
oh,
masala.
those sound wonderful.
So,
And while we're at it, can we just mention that you do come inside in the winter sometime, and now you're doing a series in
Well, we're thrilled to have a rain site for every one of our summer concerts,
that's
and
right.
most of them are here at Proctor's, whether the main stage or the GE Theater. Niskuna High School Auditorium's filling in when Hamilton comes to town
I
here.
know.
But yes, we've evolved into the Passport Series at Proctor's in between
Wonderful,
summers
wonderful.
to continue to bring in some of the international bands. And as I've told you many times, we're never at a loss for the talent that comes from other parts of the world that we can bring here and experience.
And we're speaking with Mona Golub, who is the brains behind this and getting things moving. Did you ever think it was going to take a life of its own? Keep on, like, did you think you were going to do it for a couple of years, or did you have this vision?
I truly can't believe it's been 30 years.
I know.
It's a labor of love for me.
Yeah.
It's my part-time hobby that's kind of
I
become
know.
a full-time second job.
Yeah.
But it's joyous. And the business community has been so supportive in so many ways to ensure that every seat is free for anyone and everyone who wants to join us.
Well, you've got something to do this summer. Just get out there and enjoy the great music in Central Park at Music Haven. Mona Golub, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, as
We're going
always.
to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will be talking with our next guest, and we'll be learning all about another band, Guilderland Band. Stay tuned. Okay. And here we are back again. And you know, we're just talking about music at Music Haven, but you know, there's Towasenta Park, and they have a lot of events going on, but in particular, we're talking about the Guilderland Town Band. And is this a volunteer group?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, they just get together and do what they do.
95 to 100 musicians, all volunteer.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. We're talking with the
Remarkable.
conductor right here,
Yes.
Kathleen Richards Ehlinger.
Yes.
And you've been conducting in how long?
20 years.
20 years.
Yes. Don Webster started the group back in 1969. He was my band director at the Guilderland High School. And Don had a vision of trying to, he noticed that students were not playing during the summer. And it was an encouragement just to
rusty, you
keep,
mean?
rusty. Their chops were getting a little rusty.
Yeah.
And he needed them to just, just keep it going, because that's what it's all about, is just continue playing your music. And he thought to start the band. And that started in 69. I was his student 78, 78, I think, whatever. And so so then I joined the band.
Yeah.
And it was a remarkable experience to be able to be a part of that
What was the
group.
transition to becoming a conductor?
Well, I also came back and taught at Farnsworth Middle
you go.
School,
So
which is
all
the
my
middle school
grandkids
there.
went to
Yes,
that, yeah.
yes. And then I became the band director with Jim. Actually, he was my colleague for 3-4 years.
Something like
Yep.
that, yeah.
And then one of the board members came up to me and said, "Kath, would you like to try to conduct?" And I agreed, not knowing it would be for the next 20 years.
That's how I started the show. I said I'll do it for a year, and here I am in my 21st year, so I know exactly what you're saying.
It's been a remarkable experience working with people such as Jim and Bob and just everybody. Has been
Okay,
wonderful.
so Bob is the announcer and the
Yes.
board member. So tell me a little bit about what you do. What does an announcer do?
Well, I act as an MC. I try to research the pieces that we're playing to give a little information, keeping in mind that we are basically entertainers. But if there's
But you're an educator too.
But if they learn something, that's great.
Yeah.
But if in what I research I find a lead into an atrocious pun or something, I'm not below using it.
Good for
because
you.
because
Good
we
for
because
you.
we are entertainers.
Yeah.
Like the Mary Poppins joke you just
Like
pulled
the-
off?
Well, yeah. No, that was only that the spoonful of sugar that helps the medicine go down. So I introduced her as the band's sugar to help their medicine go down.
Oh, little.
But as soon
was
as I said
funny.
the word sugar, everybody erupted, and I never got to the second part of
Oh, I haven't heard it yet.
no.
Well, now we have Jim here with us too, Corigliano. You're a composer. Do you write music for this group?
I do.
You do?
Yes.
What is your background? How did you come to do that? I mean, you don't meet too many. I had a composer on last week too, but
Yeah.
it's unusual having two in a.
Well, I come from a musical family.
Okay, good.
John Corigliano won an Academy Award for his score for the Red Violin. He's my cousin.
Are you kidding? Oh, I remember the Red Violin.
Yes.
It's a wonderful film.
So music was always my passion. I went to SUNY Fredonia, got a teaching degree, and wound up teaching in Guilderland in 1972.
So it came as a natural to you then, in a way.
It was something that I've always kind of chased, and as a band director, you're looking at scores, so you see how things are done, and you kind of learn the craft. So
And it's really nice that you're able to have a venue for the music
It
as
really
well.
is.
You know, that you know,
It
and
really
then
is,
somebody's going to
because
hear it and say, oh, I need to get that.
yeah, it's part of the performing arts.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about the performing arts for composers or playwrights, it's on paper.
Yeah, yeah.
And it could be there for 100 years until someone looks at
Looks
the
at it and does it, yeah.
symbols and brings it to life.
Exactly.
So the thrill in composing is that handing out the parts and hearing.
You know, that's the one thing I have to say. I'm a fan of, you know, Mozart and many of the classicals. And I listen to that music and I think, what went on in the composer's mind that they heard the clarinet here and they heard the saxophone there and they heard the cymbals there? How do you hear all that in your head?
It's a process. When I was in college, I would run around from practice room to practice room and grab an oboe player and a flute player, and I would say, play this.
Ah.
And I'd hear the two instruments together. And so you learn textures. And of
Yeah,
course
I mean,
you
when I
listen-
hear Mozart and I hear the
listen to
symphony
recordings.
orchestras, and it's like I'm listening to this and going, how did anyone figure this out? I
Well,
mean,
and the trick is also when you're conducting is
you got to hear it too.
I have to hear it, but I also have to understand the composer. So we collaborate together, with all the musicians collaborate together and try to learn more about where the composer came from, what was his intake and how the process was, and how can I as a conductor energize the musicians
you're the
to be able
motivator,
to
yeah,
bring it
yeah.
to fruition.
Yeah. Now, you have two concerts coming up,
Yes.
one on July 11th and one on August 1st. Are these going to be the same concerts, or do you do two different types of concerts?
Two totally different types of music.
Okay, so
Yes.
if they've come once, you come again, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you do pop, or do you do, tell me what type of music?
Pretty much anything. That's one of the joys of being in a band. You play music from all across the spectrum, from classical to pop, show tunes, marches. You know, so it's very. There should be something for everybody in a band concert.
Yeah. Now, are there chairs, or how did that work? It's a amphitheater.
Well,
sort of,
it's sort of an amphitheater. People bring blankets
Okay.
and chairs. There are a few benches there, but not enough for what we hope is the number of people who come.
What happens if it rains?
We have a rain site at the Guilderland High School auditorium.
Okay, so that's where you go. If it rains, go
Absolutely.
to because
Yep.
you guys don't want to get wet. You don't want your instruments to
Right,
get wet.
right. And the shows, each show we have special artists. In fact, Claudia Golob, who is one of our singers, is going to be singing the prayer, where Jim has arranged that particular piece
wonderful,
for
yeah.
him. And I have my former conductor, world-renowned conductor, Anthony Maiello from George Mason University. He's coming to guest conduct on the last concert. And the most special thing is, because our 50th, Don Webster is coming back to conduct, and we're going to let him, we asked him to conduct the Sousa Stars and Stripes
Sousa,
Forever.
oh my God.
Yeah, and so all the alumni.
That'll energize the entire
Yep,
crowd.
and the alumni from the band are coming up to actually play. They're bringing their instruments and they're coming up to play the very last piece.
That's
So-
like what they did at Rotterdam, the Chalmont High
Yeah.
School, they do the Hallelujah chorus, and everybody gets up on the stage. And
Absolutely.
does,
It'd be nice. We've got some John Williams playing. We've got when the Saints go marching in. Lots of fun stuff, and it will be great.
It looks like you guys look like you really enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah. It's a wonderful family, and we're very lucky to be a part of it.
Do you do anything over the winter?
No.
Just practice.
Not with that band, but a lot of us play
Well, you're
other
musicians.
groups.
Well,
So
the remarkable thing about this particular group is we only have 3 rehearsals per concert. That's it. So I put the program together. He helps me with the programming, the actual the narration.
The narration.
Narration, and it's learn the music. Within 3 rehearsals, done.
You're done. Yeah. So you don't waste a lot of energy. Yeah.
None.
No.
It's actually only 2 per piece, actually.
2 rehearsals per piece.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Somebody's got to have a good ear.
Well, we have good musicians. A huge, wonderful family of musicians.
If you want to hear more of this band, it's the Guilderland Town Band. You've got 2 opportunities to hear them. One is on July the 11th. These start at 7:30, and August the 1st. So, bring the family, go sit in the lawn, enjoy it, and I'm sure there's probably something, refreshments there, who
Yes,
knows?
there's a snack
always
stand.
There's a snack stand.
And a snack stand joke from Bob.
Usually.
Thank you all for being here. It's been a pleasure to
Thank
meet
you
you
very
all,
much.
and I hope that you
Thanks
come
for
back
having
next
us.
year to talk about your next season. Come
Okay.
earlier and let us know about all the...
We will.
Yeah, good.
Thank you very much.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about the Iroquois Museum, which is an amazing place that you guys, if you haven't been there, hike on over there and check it out. I'm Ann Pearl. You're watching Schenectady Today in and around the capital region. Stay tuned.
All right, boys, come over here, line up. Travel. Practice. You might get this in your contest. Come on now. Practice time.
And here we are back again, and thank you for continuing to watch the show. We've got great guests coming up. We'll be hearing about the Iroquois Indian Museum, and then we'll talk about the Apollo 11 and more. But let's talk about what's going on, because you have so much going on.
We do.
It's amazing how you fill your summer.
It's going to be a busy summer this year. We were just discussing that. Just about every weekend we have either an artist demonstration or dancers or a speaker, so come on down.
Yeah. So where would they find out about your itinerary?
Well, the best place is our website, iroquoismuseum.org, and or Facebook. Alicia's always posting any of our events on Facebook, and we boost things out there, so pass it along to your friends, and
Always
Instagram.
make sure you can share. Make sure
That's right, got to be able to share.
Yeah, so that we can pop on and share it on our Facebook pages. And I'm finding that more and more organizations are using your Facebook as almost their website too, because the word just gets out that way. So what's coming up next?
Well, the first weekend in July 6th, we have dancers, Iroquois dancers from the Tuscarora Nation. So they're going to kind of kick off the summer season. And then from then on, we have a demonstration of beadworking and demonstrations of headdress making, the Iroquois called Gastoes, and drum making and rattle making. It just goes on.
Yeah, I mean, and this to me is a place to bring your kids.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think all of our events are really family friendly and really hands-on. Even our kid activities, you always see adults downstairs in the Children's Museum looking at the turtles and weaving with the baskets and playing with the quilt squares. So I really think it's like a great place to bring the whole family. It seems like every age really just enjoys what we have to offer.
Yeah, and do you do anything with foods? Because you know, the Native Americans certainly grew grain, and they grew the agrarians.
Well,
and were the Iroquois agrarians, or were
Yes, they were. They
Yeah.
were originally hunter-gatherers, but then they became much more agriculturalist. Yeah.
we do have a garden outside the front of our museum, our Three Sisters garden, where we
The
have
Three Sisters, yeah.
Yes, the corns, beans, and squash. Also, some other native local plants. We have the sacred tobacco.
Tobacco growing,
If you want to sample some foods, the festival that we do every Labor Day weekend this summer.
That's Labor Day.
Mhm,
Yeah.
This summer it's August 31st and
Okay.
September 1st, Saturday and Sunday. We have native vendors, and we have corn soup, buffalo burgers, strawberry drink.
If you haven't had a buffalo burger,
Good stuff.
you have missed something. They are wonderful. I had my first one in Denver, and it was amazing.
Fry bread is always a
Fried
favorite.
bread, yeah.
Yeah.
Indian
So
taco.
yes, lots of tasty foods at the festival to sample.
Yeah.
And it's great. The garden is loving the rain. The one thing that loves all the rain we've been doing. It's growing like crazy. So we've got, it's actually white, native white corn that's growing, not the traditional sweet corn that people realize. But
A white corn.
it's a white corn. It's what the Iroquois used to make the corn soup and to make cornbread and those
Flour.
sorts of things.
Yeah,
Flour.
made flour
Yeah.
out of
It's a
that.
great long ear of corn. It's beautiful.
I don't think I've ever seen a white corn.
Well, come on by.
Yeah, and that's
later
how you
this
find
summer we'll
out
have
these
some
things.
white corn.
See, this is what I love about this show. I'm always learning something. White corn.
Yep.
You know, I know that I lived in the Midwest, and there were two different kinds of corn. One is the ones you feed to the cattle,
Right.
and then there's the other corn that we eat. But I found out that the corn that you feed to the cattle, there's like a window of about 4 days when you can pick it and eat it
That's
yourself.
right, before it gets really tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that? See, I learned that.
Well, there you go.
Good. And there's an admission to get into the museum
There
because
is.
you have to support yourself.
We're a non-for-profit, so we're trying to raise money however we can.
Do you have fundraisers?
We have fundraisers. We're actually going to have a new fundraiser in August this year, August 2nd. It's a Friday evening. We're bringing in a couple of local bands, and
nice.
we'll have a little raffle, and we'll have food there, and we're just trying to get the community to come in and see what we're all about.
And what is your draw? Because, I mean, I know that you're in House Caves, which is out there a little ways, but do you draw from other communities to come in? I mean, because this to me is an exceptional museum, and I've talked about this to many people, and as a matter of fact, I had one gentleman who I told him, and he came out there. He's so
good.
excited about
it's
it.
a really, it's a really special,
Professor,
it's a really special location. I think the actual ground that we have, like we have over 40 acres
you have
of
a
ground.
lot of space.
So the fact that it's not only a building, but it's a beautiful garden. We have a beautiful nature park. So to be able to have an experience that's both indoors and outdoors, I think is really special.
Yeah, and we were showing some photos up there too. I think they've been doing that, and I have not been addressing them, but you have photos showing the artwork that you have there. I think, was it last year that you had a person do a panel on the wall? Is
It
that
was
still there?
2 years ago, and actually one of the pictures shows him on the bottom.
Jay Havens. Yes, he did. He painted a fantastic mural for us. We loved having him.
And that's our kitty helping him.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
good.
we do have
I
a cat. We do have a cat at the museum.
I love, you got to have, every museum needs a cat.
I'll tell you, he's a big draw.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's funny. I was in Italy, and I was at one of the museums there. I could not believe the number of cats that were in the museum. It was like, I was like, what is this, you know? And they were there, and they didn't bother anybody. They just kind of laid there and looked at you, and that was it. So, yeah, cats are good.
Well, some people come and ask for the cat because they've seen him on Facebook. So they're like, "Where is this little boy? Actually exists?" Yes, he does.
He runs the show. He's really, oh yeah, he's
Great.
the real.
So we want to encourage people to go there. It's a house cave. It's an easy ride. It really is.
It's about, it's 30 minutes from here.
Yes, it's not,
very close.
Really, really
bad
easy
at
drive.
all. And then when you get in there, you're going to see this beautiful building, and I think we had a picture of the building up there. And then when you get inside, you're going to be amazed at what's on the walls in there because they have a wonderful art, and I like the hands-on stuff too.
Oh yeah,
That's
people
really great.
enjoy that.
Yeah. So
Turtle Pound is a great draw for kids and adults. You know, count the turtles. Are they real? Yeah, they're real.
And who takes care of them?
Pretty much me.
Okay. What do you feed turtles?
There's actually, it's called Reptimin. It's a turtle, little kernel
turtle
thing.
food.
Yeah, regular turtle food, and it comes out. They have a little feeder once a day, and they'll gather there to eat their food. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I have to check that out. That's downstairs, though. See, I don't go downstairs usually when I go.
Well, you got to check
you
out the
gotta go
downstairs.
downstairs.
I mean,
That's got-
that's the kids' area, isn't it?
But we really call it the sort of family-friendly
Oh,
area
okay,
because,
all
as
right.
Alicia said, we adults are doing puzzles, they're
Yeah.
coloring, they're.
I'm usually
all kinds of-
outside with the drummers or whoever's
there you
doing
go,
their
yeah.
thing. Yeah, that's my thing. So
Yeah, that's always fun.
check it out, and please, expand your kids' involvement in the world. And remember, they were here first.
That's right. New York's first people.
Exactly. So everybody else is an immigrant.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. We are.
We are. Hey, so don't be talking that way, So anyway,
There you go.
check it out. I'm Ann Frill. You're watching Schenectady Today, and now we're going to be going into space next. So stay tuned. I'm Ann Frill. Great. Well, if you've never been to a powwow, you got to check it out because they are so much fun to go to. I just love them, and I love when they do the competition. But I also love space. And a powwow was an amazing event when they landed on the moon, or the Decade of Achievement. This book, tell me about this book.
Well,
Let me hold it up.
Yep. So it was written by Paul Casey. He was born in 1960, and he was a huge fan of the Apollo program. He wrote letters to the staff, the scientists, the astronauts.
Did they write back?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. So there's a lot of anecdotes in here regarding their experiences during the Apollo missions.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. And he collected hundreds of photos. There's
Oh,
200
yeah, look at
pages.
these.
Yeah, there's 200 pages of photos. It's absolutely amazing photos.
Oh, and I love it. There's captions under every photo.
Yes.
This is a great book. This is a book for for your coffee table.
Yes. Yes.
You know.
So he details every single Apollo mission.
And there were how many?
I went to Apollo 17, I think was the last one, yeah. And he's got excerpts of the official transcripts of the missions.
Wow.
And he talks about what they were doing for each mission and what their goals were.
So did they really say, Houston, I have a problem? We have a problem?
Yes.
They
yes,
did say
Apollo
that.
13, yeah.
Oh
yes.
my, that was Tom Hanks, I think, in that movie.
Tom Hanks in the movie, yeah, that's correct,
right,
yes.
good.
Yeah,
So if this is almost a book that is an educated, it's for educators almost as well.
Yes, it is. Paul was very big on educating people about space.
Yeah.
So he kind of geared it, and he writes really well. It's not highly technical, so it's a nice fun read.
So now, how did you connect with Paul?
Well, so that's a picture when he was about 8 years,
yeah.
8th grade when he started writing the book.
Oh, he's 57 with Sputnik was
yes,
going across.
Yep. So I was working for the courts in Pima County in Arizona.
Oh, okay.
And his sister worked for Heidi Sollers. She worked for the administrative office of the courts, which is the state level of the courts up in Phoenix. And she heard that I had a publishing company. Now, Paul passed away in 1999, so he never had an opportunity to see his book published.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, it was very sad. So they just wanted to publish it just to honor his memory. The family wanted to publish it, so she sent me a CD with his typewritten text and all the pictures. And I put the book together and I published it.
You did it, so you were responsible for this book.
Yes.
Wow. Did you get credit for it in here?
Well,
we're talking
well,
to
I'm the
Joe
author.
Sweeney.
Yeah, I'm the author, and my ex-wife at the time, well, she's my ex-wife now. She helped me edit. So she spent a lot of time helping me edit it. So she's listed
So it was a
as a
labor of
credit.
love almost.
Yes. Yeah. It was a lot of work.
You're a man of many talents. I have to say this because I know Joe, first of all, as a DJ. And then I learned that he does IT with computers. And then I'm going, now he's a publisher? I mean, what else do you do?
Let's see. Well, I've got the publishing company. Well, I also teach ballroom dance too, as well.
You teach ballroom dance?
Yes, I do. Yes, but I love to DJ. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So he teaches ball. You want to take a dance lesson? Check with him. Anyway, but he does DJ at some of the ballroom dances as well. Yeah. Yes. So I know the fourth Sunday you do.
Right.
Tell me, how is this book being advertised, or how long has it been published? And how do people get a hold of a book like this?
Well, so it was published in 2013.
Okay.
And
it's a slow start, probably.
Well, marketing can be a really time-consuming process. So,
you know about that.
You know, I still had to make a living, so working full-time, so it was hard for me to market it. But
because the author wasn't alive, so it wasn't. I mean,
Heidi.
I mean, you're the author.
I'm the editor. I'm one of the editors, and I'm the publisher.
Yeah, the publisher. Okay.
But Heidi, his sister, she markets it.
Okay.
I did a press release when it came out. I sent complimentary copies to a lot of the people that were involved in it. For example, he did a newspaper column for 10 years in Washington State. They got a copy. The observatory he was working with got a copy.
This is quite a book. It really is. It looks like something that should be in every library. It really should be. This is certainly historical. Not only that, but it's a historical on the ground level. You know, the people level.
Right. Exactly.
To what we do. So there's not going to be another copy. I mean, there's not going to be a sequel to this because.
Well, there's not much going on with the space program right now.
It's a shame, really. Yeah. Although they've been sending up a lot of satellites and.
They have, and there's also discussions about a manned mission to Mars.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, so not sure when that'll come around.
I know. It's very exciting. It's the last. What is it? The final frontier.
Yeah.
Unless we go down into the ocean, into the.
Well, which other people say is a final frontier, because there's a lot of depths that we haven't explored yet.
If we don't fill it up with plastic.
Plastic, yes.
Then we could walk across it.
That's right.
No, I'm going to take just a quick break to say who's coming on next week. We have a special show next week. Malcolm Kogot is an organist, and he performed on the stage at Proctor's along with the Rensselaer Village Voices. Rensselaerville Village Voices. Say that 3 times fast. And we'll be showing that for next week because it's a holiday weekend. So we wanted to give everybody here at our volunteers a break. So we'll be showing that. So getting back to the book, how can people get a copy of this book?
They can order it on Amazon.com.
Okay.
Or Barnes & Noble, either one. They can also get an ebook version if they want. It's, I think it's, I can't remember how much. I think it might be 50.
Not important.
Yeah. So
if you're interested, you're going to get it.
But they can order a copy. I have a few copies on hand.
So they could contact you.
They could contact me.
You can contact me, and I'll.
So
I'll
it's
get
a first
the
come first. It's a first come first serve.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, I have a few copies. Yeah.
But this is, and I'm looking at this. This is an amazing book. It even has graphics in it. And I mean, and I love that moonshot. Don't you love that moonshot? Oh my gosh, that was beautiful that they did that. And the astronauts that were on some of these flights, I'm sure they'd all be interested in.
Yeah. Well, so the cover is actually a painting by Paul Casey.
Oh, this is a painting?
That's a painting by Paul Casey.
Looks like a photo.
I know.
Except
it's
for
amazing.
that shouldn't be in there.
So, and Frank Borman, one of the astronauts, actually ordered 10 copies of the painting because he liked it so much.
Yeah, it is a wonderful,
yeah.
You know, I'll hold it up like that if you want to look at it, but that's what it looks like. It's just an amazing. And that photograph that we all see now with, you know, the moon, of the Earth, Earth rising.
Earthrise, yeah.
Earthrise. What's amazing about that is that he just happened to glance up and see it.
Yeah.
He had film in the camera because that was before digital.
Right.
And took a photo of it.
Yeah.
And what an amazing
It
photo.
is. It really gives you a different
but
perspective.
But I said like a minute or two later it would have been gone.
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
It is.
I wish I was younger so I could go into space and do that. I mean, I can't imagine what it's like to be up there. I had a friend who went to Houston for the training, you know, and you go into that hyperbolic, you know,
Oh, yes.
thingy
Yeah.
thing, and you go weightless for a
Weightless,
while.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that was kind of cool. So, interested in going space?
Yeah, yes, definitely.
Yeah, you and me.
Yeah.
We'll get our first tickets. We'll get our tickets to ride.
Well, they're offering tickets because, who is it? Might be SpaceX, I think, is planning trips to the moon.
I know they are.
And I think it's like $1 million for a ticket.
$1 million.
Yeah.
And you have to buy your own spacesuit too.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. You're watching Schenectady today in and around the capital region. Thank you so much for watching. We always love being here and meeting our wonderful guests. This today has been no exception. Great guests here and great places to go, things to see. I'm Ann Perillo.